Manchester United have come back stronger after the international break with a win against Bournemouth with a scoreline of 2-1, with Garnacho scoring the equalizer and Højlund scoring the winner. This was much needed for Erik Ten Hag, who was under so much of pressure, and would give him a breather. Let's break down the game and see how it went. Manchester United are a team who definitely look on the up after the international break and after sacking of Sir Alex Ferguson. Yes, the legendary manager who brought Manchester United and made Manchester United a global sensation. He has been sacked and he has been removed of his ambassador duty where he was getting a 2 million per year. I think it's really sad for Ineos. I'm not sure why would they even do that. Like even there are so many players who would get so much times more than him, and him just coming at Old Trafford watching the match was more of a sensation than any of the players could ever have. But yeah, anyways, I cannot do anything about that. But however, Manchester United started the game on a very strong foot. They were playing better, they had more cohesion in the team. There were a lot of intricate passes that were happening, and some of the good chances. One of them came to Højlund, where he unfortunately couldn't tap it in. It was so close. A couple of chances came to Garnacho, where he tried to shoot the ball, but it was always going and hitting the outside of the net. But Manchester United did look in control and were dominating most of the part of the game. And then we have this incident where the Brentford player knees Dillit on his head while he was trying to head the ball away. This looked horrible. Dillit was constantly bleeding after this. He went out of the pitch to get some treatment, and all credit to Dillit where he always came back and showed a warrior's performance and mentality. But unfortunately, he was still bleeding and it was not looking good for Dillit, and that's where one of the incident happens where Brentford scored the goal, and this is something that we need to discuss about. Now the ball goes out for a corner and Brentford are about to take it. Now the referee sees that Dillit is still bleeding and he asks Dillit to go outside of the pitch, try to address the issue, try to stop the bleeding, and then come back in. Now ideally this is something that has been there in the Premier League where the referees, if somebody is bleeding or if somebody has blood stains on their jersey, they are asked to remove it or to stop the bleeding before they can continue to play. So I think this was fair in those terms, but it did cost them, and it was against the run of play for Manchester United, where Manchester United almost dominated the whole of the first half. Just on the stroke of half time, they take this corner and they concede a goal, and Brentford go 1-0 up before halftime. Now if you look at the pictures here, you see that Casemiro is trying to mark the player. He makes that jump and he misses it completely, and then for the other player it's just a tap in. And as much as I rate Casemiro, he is a world-class defensive midfielder, but I think when you take that stride, when you go for that head and you know that there is nobody else backing you up or putting pressure on the player who is just behind you, you cannot afford to miss the ball. If you miss the ball, he's just a tap in for him, and that's what happened in this one, and Brentford go 1-0 up. Manchester United started the second half strong as well, and I think Rashford played a couple of very good passes. Even in the first half, he played one diagonal for Garnacho that was superb, and here again he plays a cross for Garnacho. It's a pinpoint, pitch perfect pass for Garnacho, and Garnacho hits it wonderfully, giving Manchester United a 1-1 just when the second half starts. And this, from here, the game completely changes for United favor, where they constantly put pressure on Brentford and getting a second goal. I think they could have got at least 3-4 goals if they could have taken their chances properly, but they totally dominated the second half, and it was good to see that Manchester United are back. The game was free flowing, there was proper passes that were going on, there were a lot of transitions that were happening, and I think all the Manchester United fans, even though the result doesn't speak for itself where it's just a 2-1 victory over Brentford, but I think overall in the game they looked so much dominant and so much composed on the ball. I think Eriksen was fantastic yesterday. He was the one who was trying to make things happen from the midfield, trying to dominate the ball, trying to provide those killer passes quickly so that Manchester United can attack properly. Casemiro was mostly sitting back trying to do his defensive duties, but Ericsson was the one who was pulling the strings, and this is where he places a pass for Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes, I think that's one of the most beautiful piece of skill that anybody will see. It's a small flick that just lets Højlund straight to the goal. So he flicks the ball, and Højlund then takes the ball, drives a couple of yards, and then chips the ball over the keeper and score a beautiful goal. I think it was very good to see that Højlund coming back. I think he has been injured and he needed some confidence as well. And I think this goal would surely give him some confidence. It was purely a striker's goal where he goes in, puts in a sweet chip just over the keeper to beat him, and it was really good to see. Even though this was just the 61st minute, but after this, Manchester United kept dominating the ball, kept putting in more chances, but eventually they couldn't score, but they could have done a couple of more. Now we really need to talk about this chance and miss from Zerski. This was a beautifully worked out ball from Manchester United. They really did all the passes correctly, and then the ball finally comes to Zerski, where if you have to give anything, you know that Zerski is a striker. He's one of the better player to be positioned at this point of time when he is in front of the goal and the ball is there to hit. But unfortunately, he fluffs the shot, and then Manchester United end up losing the ball there. But I personally feel that he should have taken it. It would have given him some confidence and Manchester United a bit more breather, rather than they having a 2-1 lead, where you know in the Premier League a one goal lead is never enough. Teams can hit you at the counter attacks, team can hit you in the added time, and then the whole scoreline and the point tally could completely change. But even though it was lucky for Manchester United that it didn't go that way, but I think this should have been taken by Zerski, and I think maybe this would have given him some confidence. Now Marcus Rashford now has 40 Premier League assists for Manchester United. The only Manchester United wingers who have more assists than that are Ryan Giggs with 162 and David Beckham with 80. He has been coming back to his prime. He is coming back to form. He is delivering in every matches, either with goal or assist. Now Matthew Zillit had 95% passing accuracy, 4 passes into the final third, 4 ground duels contested, 3 ground duels won, 3 tackles attempted, 3 interceptions and 3 clearances, and more of that. But one thing that I really liked about Dillit, he didn't shy away. He went for the headers, even though he had a hand injury. He was bleeding for most of the game, but he went for those headers. He did put an absolute beast of a performance, an absolute spirit, an absolute warrior. I think it was really good to see that performance from Dillit. Garnacho had a superb game. He had 10 touches in the opposition box, 8 shots, 5 on target, 4 defensive actions, 4 attempted take-ons, 2 successful take-ons, 2 chances created, 1 foul, 1 goal. And in 715 minutes that he has played for Manchester United, he has 5 goals and 3 assists. Alexander Garnacho is now averaging a goal or assist in every 89 minutes. That means every game he is either scoring a goal or assisting the team. That's a good thing. Now this is what I was talking about. I really liked Eriksen's games yesterday, where if you see 100% long pass accuracy, 98% pass accuracy, 5 passes in the final third, 4 chances created, 1 foul, 1 shot. He was operating from the midfield for Manchester United. He was dominating that center midfield area. Now in terms of Rasmus Højlund, he had 70% pass accuracy, 6 touches in the opposition box, 5 ground duels contested, 3 ground duels won, 3 attempted take-ons, 2 successful take-ons. And one thing I'm not sure if you noticed or not, Højlund was able to take the ball higher up the pitch, trying to control it and making sure that the other players like Garnacho, Rashford, Bruno can come forward and he can link up. So he was holding the ball beautifully. I saw that in at least 3-4 sessions where they hit the ball for Højlund, he was able to hold up the plate for making sure the other players can run, and then he could link up with the other players. I think that was really good to see from Højlund. Now I think it has been a while that Manchester United fans would have seen all their 4 players coming up with good SofaScore rating. So you see Garnacho with 8.2, Bruno Fernandes with 7.9, Rashford with 7.4, and Højlund with 7.5. I think they all played pretty well, and I think for Eriksen, Casemiro, they were excellent as well. They were doing all the things correctly in yesterday's game. Now in terms of the match stats, there were 2 goals to 1. Expected goals for Manchester United, I think they could have definitely scored 3 or 4 goals in the amount of chances Manchester United created. Shots was 23 shots they took to Brentford's 8 shot. Shots on target was 11:2. Touches in the opposition box was 35%, 35 to 15, and possession percentage was 50 to 49. So possession was pretty much even, but I think most of the chances were from Manchester United. Corners taken was 9 to 2, and fouls committed were 4. Now, Eric Ten Hag and the Manchester United fans will be really delighted with the kind of performance that they saw in the yesterday's game. It's not about the win, it's not about the scoreline, even though it is important that they really had to take the 3 points. But what was more interesting to see was the kind of performance Manchester United put. It was a free-flowing performance with lot of the things going in United's favor. The link-up play, the tactics, the way they pressed high up the pitch for Brentford, the way they transitioned, and the way they passed the ball around, and with their defensive duties. I think it was an overall absolute masterclass from Eric Ten Hag and the players as well. So I think this should continue for Manchester United. This is the video then and there, people. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Who was your favorite player yesterday? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you next time.